Greetings, everybody. Dr. Jesse Wilson here in the boardroom of the Bradford Cleveland Brooks Leadership Center here on the campus of Oakwood University. I want to say a word of thanks to Jose and Ivan and Dave for this invitation. It's great having an opportunity to talk about church growth and evangelism. It's been my passion for years. I loved church growth when I was a local pastor for about 30 years, did my doctoral work in Pasadena at Fuller. Always been a passion and interest in the art and science of soul winning. And they were asking about the different types of evangelism that I've done. I'm much like you, have probably done all types of evangelism, proclamational evangelism, 6 weeks, 5 weeks, 4 weeks. When I started my ministry in the South Central Conference, we had to do tent meetings every summer, Revelation seminars, Daniel seminars, health seminars. Recently, we've been moving into purpose conferences. That's almost a hybrid of a traditional approach and more of a seminar approach. We've been doing that online and in person. And so I've been looking at a number of different approaches to doing evangelism, but to be absolutely truthful, of all of the approaches to doing evangelism that I've done over the years, the one that has been the most consistently, quote, successful, and I define success a little bit differently. I can talk about the importance of having an essential or an accurate metric for success. It's not just outcome, but it's input, but that's for another day. My most consistently successful approach to doing evangelism is year-round discipleship. Year-round discipleship. It is an approach that most of you are doing right now at some level, where the pulpit is the primary point of decision making. You might be doing quarterly reaping meetings. You might be doing a meeting once a year. You might be doing reaping meetings once a year. My point is, I called it discipleship because the forum was the local church and the priority was discipleship, year-round discipleship or disciple making. Developed a funnel. Nothing new about the funnel, but I wanted my members to be clear about what we were doing, moving people from non-believers to new believers to mature believers, and then getting those mature believers back out into the lives of non-believers so that they could put them through the same discipleship process that they had benefited from. I used a funnel. That's nothing new. Many of you have seen these different funnels. Our funnel had 3 levels. The first level was deliverance. Second level was development. Third level was deployment. In the deliverance stage of the funnel, that's where all of our activities were that had anything to do with moving a person from non-believer to new believer. That's where our public evangelistic meetings were. That's where our personal evangelistic efforts were in that funnel. After they had become members, Christians, they were now in the development stage. That's where all of our growth, sanctification activities were. And then the third stage, which was a critical stage, was the deployment stage. And I think for many churches who have a discipleship funnel, discipleship plan, they probably don't put as much emphasis on the deployment stage. That is the stage when the church is motivating, training, and encouraging its members to go back out into the community, and I put the word community in quotes, their community, and connecting with people via relationships so that those people that they connect with can be entering the funnel in the same way that they did. It might be a relationship that's cultivated at a basketball game or around a barbecue, some affinity outreach activity that they have. The point is, in that deployment stage, the emphasis is cultivating relationships. Because at some point, our church was going to be sponsoring an activity, might be public, it might be informal, that would connect these relationships that they had formed to some type of introduction to Christ. And so again, we had a funnel. We had discipleship. We had year-round, every member involvement to the extent that we could get everybody involved. Never got everybody, but we always had that priority, always had that passion, always had that focus, teaching mission, convincing them over and over again that the mission of the church was not just to baptize people, but to make disciples, fully developed followers and fully devoted followers of Jesus Christ. So again, of all of the approaches to evangelism that I did and continue to do, the one that was most fruitful for me was a year-round discipleship focus where the local pulpit was the point of decision. And that way we were consistently training people on the value of mission, encouraging people to cultivate relationships. There was not that great distance between the relationships that they were cultivating and an opportunity to see those people respond to an invitation, because we were having and scheduling fairly regular reaping meetings or weekend meetings or extended meetings. But the consistent point of evangelism was our discipleship making funnel. The last thing I'd say is the overarching emphasis of what we did was sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ and teaching the gospel of Jesus Christ not only to non-believers, but to new believers and mature believers on a regular basis. Why is that so central to evangelism? Because frankly, brothers and sisters, I've learned this, and you know this. It's practically impossible to get a person to share the gospel if the good news is not good to them. And so our discipleship model, coupled with a passion for training for mission and a consistent preaching of the gospel of Jesus Christ, proved very effective for me in my local church.